for such a long time now.
After I specialize, I also want to study corporate management and want to enter the government health sector and
It's an inspiring thing for me because it requires so much perseverance and hard work for that. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Shristi here, and today we are having a little chit chat about medical schools with two students from Pakistan. So I have Bazish Khan and Abdullah bin Faisal with me. So guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Assalamu alaikum. Hello everybody, and my name is Abdullah bin Faisal, and I am a medical student in the AGA KHAN University in Karachi, Pakistan, and I am currently in the second year of medical college. I am also a YouTuber like Shristi, and I also make content related to medical college.
Okay, so Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hi, namaste. So I'm Bazish Khan. I'm currently a second year MBBS or medical student at AGA KHAN University. I am currently in Pakistan, and as Abdullah said, he's a YouTuber, Shristi is a YouTuber, and I'm just a average student or a medical student.
You said AGA KHAN University. Can you tell me its ranking in Pakistan and which year do you guys study?
So I study in second year, and so AGA KHAN University is basically among medical colleges, it is ranked at the top. So it is apparently the best medical college across Pakistan. However, it is not a public medical college, so it is a private institution. Public medical colleges offer seats to Pakistani students when they give the NMD card, which is the entrance exam. So if you want to come to AKU, you have to give a separate test. So it does not operate with the same public system. It is a different medical college, but according to different standards and set criteria, it ranks at the top.
Do you guys have any foreign students studying in your college? Maybe some Nepali students? Do you guys have them in your batch or junior batches?
We have a very diverse body of students. We have a lot of overseas national students. Most of them are from the US, Africa, by far what I know. There's someone from Sri Lanka as well. So far, I have not come across any student from Nepal, but I am sure that applying from Nepal is definitely an option. So,
do you have any idea how they should apply if somebody is interested in studying in Pakistan? How should they apply for it?
Okay, so as far as our university, the AGA KHAN University is concerned, I think all of the procedures are on their website. It's a PDF file for the information booklet, but I'll give a short summary. So what and any student that is interested can just go to the website, they'll download that, and what's in there is that first you have to give the national MD card that is in Pakistan, right, or anywhere, I think. And the other that is a must is that you have to give the AGA KHAN University entrance test. That is conducted in certain test centers across the world, not just in Pakistan. For example, there's in Dubai, one that I can just call from the top of my head. And that's that. And then once you get shortlisted, so the application procedure for our university is that first you have to give a test, entrance test, every student that applies to the university. Then there is a stage 2. So in stage 2, there are multiple parts to it. It has a form in which they ask you about your academics, your extracurriculars, and what you have done. And let's say if you've taken a gap year, you have to write an essay writing or mentioning what you have done. Then after that, there are 2 interviews consecutive, one ends and the other one starts. They are mostly in person, but if you do any inconvenience that, for example, let's say if some student is in Gilgit or Chitral, so these areas are in the very north of Pakistan, and quite often, especially in winters, they can be cut off due to avalanches or landslides. So they can be conducted based on letter of recommendations from the school. So you have to get 2 letters of recommendation, one or both from the school. They can be from anyone, preferably from teachers that have taught you in the later year of your high school. And as far as the public colleges are concerned, for that I think you need to have the SAT.
So yeah, sure. So the public medical colleges do have a quota, as Bazish mentioned. All across Pakistan, they have a must entrance exam, that is the NMD CAT. But students from coming from abroad need to give the SAT Part 2 exam. Also, there's another thing that happens is there's an exchange program that happens. So under that exchange program, students from Pakistan are sent overseas in different medical colleges, and students from only those particular countries are taken in. So for example, I have some friends at Dow. One of them is from Sri Lanka, and so that student came over, and the student was given a chance to choose between a few medical colleges, a very limited number of medical colleges in Pakistan, and only public ones. And so he chose Dow, and then a few students from Karachi went to Sri Lanka as well. So, and once you apply, you'll, as Bazish mentioned, the whole procedure. There are different things that they consider, but at the end of the day, if you are someone who has a strong profile, who is good in academics, who is good with extracurriculars as well, and you fulfill all the criteria, you can definitely get in. And it holds a lot of opportunities post MBBS as well. So if you do come here for MBBS, you can definitely graduate and start practicing at the AGA KHAN University as well. So yeah, that's definitely an option. What about medical colleges over there in Nepal? Do they also have an option for students from outside to apply?
Yeah, they do apply. We have lots of foreign students in our college as well. Bazish and I, like, we've been friends for such a long time now. I think the last time we met was in 2019. So it's been like how many years? So 4 years. And we both started this dream of getting into medical school, and we were not even medical students that time, and we used to dream of this. And I know Bazish had studied previously in another medical college, and then he came to AGA KHAN University, and again you started from first year again, right? So why was this important for you to do this? Why this university? Please let us know more about it.
Okay, so I have been asked this question I don't know how many times now, ever since I came there. So there are a lot of reasons, far more than I can list right now, but I think the top or the most important reason, among the most important reasons, was that, as Abdullah mentioned in the very start of the video, AGA KHAN University, or we in short call it AKU. AKU is one of the best ranked universities in Pakistan, especially related to medicine. And I think not only in Pakistan but also in the region. It's supposedly, last I checked, it was among the top 200 or 250 universities according to the Times Higher Education. So that's that. And let me give you an example. The curriculum at our university is the most distinctive curriculum of medical colleges that you can come across in Pakistan. So what happens in other medical colleges is that you study 3 subjects, which are anatomy, physio, and biochem in the first 2 years. That's the only thing that you're going to study in those years. You have some sessions of other subjects such as community health sciences or, for example, ethics. But yeah, that's that, especially in the public universities. But in AGA KHAN University, what we do is that we're done with all the basic sciences, which include pathology, pharma, community health sciences, and the usual 3 physio, biochem, and anatomy. So the third reason is that the quality of healthcare that the AGA KHAN University Hospital provides to its patients, or the procedures that are done, or the quality of teaching is just beyond. I don't have words for it. It's so good. For example, the models that we have, the plastinates, what basically they are is that they're real human body tissue which has been plasticized. So you get to see the real human body in their real color close up. without skin and everything. In the other medical colleges, I think they have those usual cadavers, which are slowly being rooted out because of the ethical issues concerned that. But yeah, and the other, or I guess the most important reason would be that the AKU alumni network is just amazing. They consider everyone as a part of its family house, and the amount of love and connection that everyone had among themselves, even after so many years, was just amazing. Also goes without saying that our university student life is also one of the best in Pakistan. For example, if you can look at the room behind me, this, according to me, or arguably, is one of the best hostels in Pakistan. And besides the hostels, we have a sports and recreation facility. It is basically a center where you can play almost any kind of sport. That includes cricket, football, net football, badminton, volleyball, both types, indoors, outdoors. We have an Olympic size swimming pool. We have squash courts, we have gymnasiums, we have pool tables, we have rowing facilities, indoor rowing facilities. So, and sometime from time to time, we may also have martial arts classes.
So, for my audience who don't know, like Bazish did his first years in in one college, and then he started in AGA KHAN and again from the first year. So it was like such an inspiring thing for me, because it requires so much perseverance and hard work for that, and I really appreciate you for that. It's an inspiring story for me. So moving on again, like Bazish and I, we weren't even medical students, and we talk about going to US and doing our residency.
Yeah, so we both have been part of the drama. So
yeah,
Shristi, literally, I would be like, oh my god, this test is so difficult. I have to study all the time. And Shristi would be like, yeah, Bosin.
Yeah, so I know Bazish wants to do his USMLE, but for like Abdullah, do you have any plans of going to US and doing residency there? Are you like preparing for it, and what are your preparations? If yes, what are your preparations in being a second year medical student? Yeah.
So the thing is that even though I have some aspirations, I have not, written down anything in stone yet, because I just still want to explore everything in the clinical years that have yet to come. But as of now, I will probably give the USMLE and move to the US. So essentially what I want to do is that I want to go into surgery initially, and choose one of the specialties, and later, after I specialize, I also want to study corporate management, and then maybe move towards administrative roles in the hospital as well. And then by the time I do come back to Pakistan, I want to enter the government health sector and the health ministry. That's somewhere I really want to be, and I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of the health system in Pakistan. But yeah, generally right now, definitely I'm going to give the steps. And apparently right now there's not only the steps, but now if you're really planning for the US, you have to focus on a lot of things from day one, since step one's now pass fail. So you have to build your whole profile, and US gets competitive every year for IMGs. So yeah, there's more people applying every year, and there's increasing competition. So yeah, definitely planning for that.
So when are you planning to give like your step ones in Nepal? Like the trend is people do it after their 5th year. So is it like the same in Pakistan, or like students do it in their 2nd year or 3rd year? So when is the good time for step ones in that?
So generally what students used to do was that they used to give their step ones later in like 5th year, maybe after graduation, except for in some medical colleges there are trends to give it in their 3rd year as well, but our medical college does not allow that. So in the first 3 years you cannot give your steps. So some students over here, since now it's pass fail, they try to give it before graduating, so their 4th year or 5th year. and if they give step 1 in their 4th year, they can easily give step 2 in their 5th year, or just right after graduation. But there's a very limited number of students who are able to give the entire both step 2 and step 1 as in their medical college, and then match into a residency right off the bat. So that is something everybody wants to do, but that is not something that commonly happens. Most of the students end up giving at least one of their steps after graduation. So essentially, yeah.
Okay, so I just want to add something that, most of, like, this is a cliche that, we want to go to the US, and I think most of the medical students, especially in Pakistan, or I would even say India, or the subcontinent, is that we want to go to the US, we want to give the steps and everything. But what people don't often take into consideration is that it is become increasingly competitive and expensive to go through the process. So if it's either steps, each exams costs a lot of money. Then there are parts of, I think it's step 3 or step 2, that you have to go to the US and give those exams. See, and then it's not just only steps, but you have to like, I'm not a good authority for this, to comment on this, but as far as what I've heard, for example, from friends and from seniors, is that not it's not the steps only that makes the case. So you have to do research, you have to be good in your college, you have to be good at being a doctor. Basically, that you're applying to a university, you have to present a good CV, and the SAT have been replaced by the USMLEs. The CVs, or for example internships, or other stuff, have been replaced by research work and clinical experience or exposure, for example, and the letters of recommendation. They make a lot of difference. So it's basically as if you're applying again to the university, just as you did after high school. So you have to present the whole scene. So you have to think about the whole picture, and steps are just part of the process.
Yeah, about that research papers, like, have you guys published any, or do you guys usually, when do you guys usually do that?
Abdullah, I think we should have Khizr here.
Yeah. So there are students in our batch who are really passionate about research, and they've been trying to publish as many articles since day one, really. But I think that you really need to have the knowledge of basic sciences first to be able to read, understand, and then actually write papers. So initially, before that, all you can do is help other people in their projects, maybe collect data for them or do analysis for them, and then get out publications. But true actual research for you, where you can actually lead the projects, that generally happens during second year or after that. I did work on a project with a faculty member here, and I was able to publish one article. But at the end, and I'm working on a few others. But it really takes off in third year and onwards. But we just had a research module, and it ended today. So it was 4 weeks of us learning methods of research, how it is done, how analysis happens, how to make posters, all of that. So we have that in our second year. And then in third year, there's a CHS rotation. So community health sciences is also a subject that we study here. And so they also have a mandatory research article to be published. So it's very common. And so AKU is the institute in Pakistan. It's actually a statistic that it does 70% of the research that happens in Pakistan. People from AKU are part of all national organizations. Members of AKU faculty were there on the COVID pandemic board, NCOC, that was looking after the country's statistics and everything. And then they're working on diseases inside different remote areas in Pakistan. So there's a lot of research that goes on here. And since our batch is only 100 students and there's a lot of faculty, it is also quite easier for us to get research and hands-on experience on all of those projects. So you don't really have to look or search for projects. If you have that passion and that time and energy to work on projects, there's a lot of opportunities at AKU for that in that case.
And there's something that I would also add, is that, for example, you mentioned earlier why AKU. This was an example that we had. I don't think this happens in any other medical college, and that is mandatory for everyone to pass here. So the case that we had was on temporal lobe epilepsy, and they were trying out different herbal medicines for treatment. So even though we were just part of it for the 4 weeks, but it did open our eyes that look at what is happening at the latest cutting edge technology. And the other thing is that as far as research is concerned, it depends on you. As Abdullah said, you have to put in a lot of effort and initiative for you to have research articles, especially published. Let's say I'll give you an example that I went to a doctor for some health issue. So he was like, Bazish, there are a few cases of this kid, for example, this dash 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 coming in, and I was thinking about writing a case series of that. So if this was someone who was passionate about research and he wanted to get some articles published, this was a golden opportunity for him to get some articles published, because the doctor is literally presenting it to you on a plate. So you have to be in good touch with your faculty members, and not just the faculty members, but also the consultants or the doctors that are practicing in the hospital.
Like, really awesome to hear that you guys have ample of opportunities there for research works. And like as Abdullah said, like there is always a way if you want to do something. So that's really nice to hear. And apart from all of that, like Abdullah, how do you like manage your such an amazing YouTube channel and then your studies? Does it get difficult sometimes? Because I'm just a small channel and I'm aspiring YouTuber. So any like how do you manage the time?
I'm glad you asked this question. The answer to that is that it is really hard to manage, and I have not been managing it really well, because I had a lot of consistency when I came to AKU, but ever since I came over, it is just hard to first, and I kept doing that in the initial month or two, but as studies progressed and as we got the load of it, the burden on us, it was increasingly hard to shoot videos and to upload them, to edit them and everything. And so my content is, a lot of it is vlogs and cinematic videos, and so all of that requires a lot of editing. So I did do some short talking videos where I talk about medical schools and entrance exams and all, but I did a very limited number of vlogs and everything, even though it is high time that I need to get my pace back on, and inshallah there's a lot of new videos coming in. But yeah, it gets hard, and so a good way to manage it is to make sure that when you come to medical college you're very discreet with what responsibilities you take on your plate, what extracurriculars do you take on your plate. Because if you take a lot of stuff, because what happens is when you come to medical college, there's a lot of stuff happening, and the studies are initially, they're not as hard, so you think you can manage so much stuff. But when the studies start to get harder, you start to tremble with all of that burden, and then you eventually burn out and you're not able to do anything at all. And so that was something that I also went through, and I would highly suggest that nobody does that. And if you're careful about that, definitely you can manage YouTube and you can manage other things as well. There's a lot of students who actually teach tuitions. There's students who have other hobbies like painting, sketching. There's students who are really into sports, and so there's a lot of other activities they keep on doing. So yeah, I think it's manageable. It's just that you need to be smart about it and set priorities and everything.
Yeah, it's like sometimes does it like get like really difficult to the point where it affects your mental health?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Because like you have this. For me, I'm trying to post like very consistently. I've just got started. Like I'll hit 1 year in like July, so I'm just learning things. But sometimes it's like it's you doubt yourself, like why am I doing this? Why am I not just studying? And do you feel that kind of pressure? And what do you do when that happens?
That's definitely true. So it happens. It's basically a sort of imposter syndrome that I sometimes see students who are doing way better than I am, And even though you never really want to compare yourself to others, it's kind of natural human psychology that you compare yourself to others, and you think, okay, so technically I came to med school for studying, and there are people who are doing way better than me, which means I must also have potential to do better. And I'm using all of that time doing YouTube and all of that, and you sometimes you are not sure if what you're doing is productive or counterproductive for your medical education. So there are times when you're not sure if what you're doing is the right use of your time and everything. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you are not doing stuff that you like doing, it just becomes hard to do stuff which you studies, which gets boring or takes a toll on you. And yes, sometimes Bazish actually was laughing on this, because mental health does get affected in a lot of ways. Even if you're not having a lot on your plate, even if you don't have a YouTube channel, medical college does have an impact on your mental health, and you need to have a really good support system. You need to have a really good counselor, so that you're up to date with what's going on with you, and you're sorting problems out as they keep coming up, and you're keeping a fresh, healthy lifestyle and a peace of mind, so that you're able to deal things with them one at a time and everything. So yeah, other things very healthy, your lifestyle routine, exercise, eat well, have a very firmly set routine. So don't go like sleeping in the day, waking at the night, random sleeping hours, random eating habits, eating junk food and all of that, because that is something that comes along with stress, and it's not a good coping mechanism, and most of us do that. And then you end up not
Or
being productive. So,
KFC at midnight.
yeah, and surprisingly now Bazish is next door, so yeah, if one of us is ordering it, the other usually ends up ordering.
As soon as you started mentioning about junk food, Badis had like such a big smile.
See, as you mentioned, I did spend a year in another medical college. I was so burned out from the studies that I had to take a break somehow. So what I did was that I at least met the minimum requirements that were expected of me. But I also gave a lot of importance to my fitness or physical health, and I was also working on the side of my mental health aspect, because as you said that if you're applying to another medical college and then starting from scratch again, even though it may look like nothing on the surface, but deep down it takes a toll on you. So you have to be very careful of what you get yourself into, one step at a time, and see what you like, and then go ahead. This is just an example of a buffet. That if let's say if there's free food and you have a lot of it in front of you, don't go about getting your plate full to everything. What I recommend is that you go try out everything one piece at a time, see what you like, and then bring that in the plate.
So moving on, this is like something I want to know personally. Like, do you guys write notes in your university or just study in the gazettes? So how do you guys study effectively?
Honestly, I think that at this point, it's very different for everybody. And the number of students who make notes are very limited. Initially, when med school started, a lot of us tried making notes, and we also experimented with a lot of other study methods. But what all of us realized was that the pace of medical college is so fast that you generally are not able to keep up if you start making notes, unless your notes are very short and concise. So what most students do is, what I've seen is that they choose the books of their own choice, the books that work for them, and they start annotating those books. And similarly, if you're watching video resources, they take very short notes on different topics, but generally at the end of the day they refer to short notes, short books. So taking notes is still hard, but if you have pre-made notes, that definitely helps. There's Bazish here uses a lot of video resources and active recall, so he does Anki a lot. I'm sure you've heard about Anki. It's very common here in med school. I personally am someone who reads short books and also video resources. It's different. I have a friend, Dayan. He makes a lot of notes and very well annotated, colorful notes. And even if, there's times when I don't understand topics and, I refer to his notes. So, yeah, if you have a friend who makes notes, it's very helpful. But generally, I don't make notes. I am.
Important point is that you can study from Ninja Net, you can study from Guyton, you can study from Kaplan Physiology, or you can study from Osmosis. Let's say these are some of the resources that I said from the top of my head. But what's important is that it's important not to mess up your studies overall. For example, there I've known people or myself that goes like, okay, no, I want to score this much percentage, or मैंने इतना पढ़ना है, and then they start off with the biggest book that they can find. So they spend days just looking at the book, and by the end of the module, they examine on top of, let's say, day after tomorrow, and they're very, oh my god, the whole module passed and I didn't know. So what is more important is that at least make sure that you maintain the minimum requirements. Then if you're once done with that you know that you'll pass the exam that's coming up, then go into detail. Then you can try out new resources and stuff. But in the first year, I think this happens for everyone. You keep on testing resources, you keep on doing stuff. For example, I went from books only to YouTube to then I discovered Osmosis, which is such an amazing resource. And then after that, I learned how to use Anki. And it turned out to be so helpful. So what Anki is basically an active recall and spaced repetition software. So it has flashcards. It's, I think, around 40,000 flashcards or something like that. And it includes step 1 and step 2.
What I do is I like write a lot of notes, and it's so time consuming. I want to stop doing notes like in my third year, but for second year, my basic years, I want to like continue doing it so that I can build a good base, because I just can't study without writing notes. So that's the thing. And I think in Nepal, as per my knowledge, I don't think a lot of people do Anki. So I also like kind of want to try it later on. So thanks, Bazish, for sharing that information. And it was an absolute pleasure to have you both on this channel. So much of information sharing. I learned so much, and you guys have such nice words to share, such inspiring words, and yeah, thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us. It was an absolute pleasure.
Bye.
Hi.